today. I'm so cold.
I think it's just the ice on the ground,
so
right?
Yeah, it's just so nasty and wet.
It's cold because of the ice.
Next week, all 50s, I think.
Right? We're done, right? It's gonna be spring.
Yay.
Really great. All right, I guess we are live. Okay. Today is yoga for anxiety. We are working with the theme of non-attachment today. So for the week, this week is non-attachment. We're going to try and weave that into our class. So we're going to start down on our back, landing on your mat. So feet down, knees up. Just kind of soften in and land in the room. Maybe taking a few deep breaths and letting go. So really landing in the moment. So when we think about the teachings of yoga, non-grasping, non-attachment is the last in the teachings of the yama. And it can be simply thought of as not being greedy, not taking more than you need. It can also be thought of as non-attachment. So non-attachment to the results. So as we start to think about landing in our practice today, start to think about having an experience, having a muscular experience, having an experience with the breath and the energy in your body, having an experience with changing your foot position, or really landing on the mat and having an experience. Seeing what is present in your own body and making your practice your own. So we're going to start to bring in a little bit of intentional breath. We're going to talk ourselves through it. So we're going to start to slow our breath down, trying to slow it just with intention, not with lots of muscular force in around the stomach or the chest. So if you like, you can bring your hands to just underneath your rib cage, just to remind yourself to remain soft in this space. Start to feel the warmth of your hands here. And then start to breathe in nice and slow, watching your rib cage expand as your breath enters. And as soon as you feel like you have a full breath, turn around, slightly push the breath out, little soft push. And then when you're fully exhaled, add a gentle pause. And experience the breath out of the body for just a soft moment. Not long enough to increase fear, just a soft pause. And if it helps to keep your focus in on your breath, you can talk yourself through it. So I am breathing in. I'm very slowly breathing out. And even saying gentle pause, just to remind yourself to keep that pause really soft, really gentle. Not a forceful pause, just a stop in the flow. And complete a full round of breath and send your awareness around your physical body. So check in. Look for places that perhaps you know you often hold tension. So just notice, check in on your shoulders, the muscles in your chest. Check in on the soles of your feet, wiggle your toes. Check in and around the hips. Check in around the jaw, especially where upper and lower jaw meet. Maybe give your jaw a soft movement just to see what is present. Taking mental note of what the physical body is holding, where it feels tight. And then taking a little soft, gentle side sway of your chin to side, taking your chin over to a shoulder, feeling one side, and then back through center and over to the other side. Really checking in, noticing what's present in the neck. And then back to neutral. We're going to start to fire up the backs of the legs, rolling bridges. So we're going to inhale as we lift our hips, exhale as we lower. So starting to move with your breath, really starting to feel your feet, the backs of your legs, your glutes. Try to keep your rib cage on the ground and just move from below the rib cage. See if you can start to feel the stomach muscles pulling the hips up also. And if that gentle pause at the end of your exhale feels like the right breath for you, you can add that throughout class. Inhale fully, exhale fully, and then experience a gentle pause. And then lower the hips, and we're going to take our knees up over our hips and our feet even with our knees. Holding here, spreading the toes wide. And then we're going to take a little soft circle with one knee at a time. So little soft circle. So we're trying to keep our hips really steady and just take a little tiny circle. So we want to fire up the legs. If you like, you can keep your hands on your hips to try and remind you to keep the hips steady. Take a little tiny circles, trying to notice what is present in the hip. And then see if you can challenge yourself and reverse the little circle with your knee. You have to stay focused or you're going to go back to the other way. And then bring your knees in, give yourself a little hug. And roll on over to a side, make your way to tabletop. Moving and breathing in tabletop. Inhale, tabletop, exhale towards a child's pose shape. Starting to feel your hands on the ground, the muscles in your back, muscles in your shoulders. And again, invitation to add that gentle pause at the end of the exhale. Come forward to a tabletop position. Take your hands a little bit further forward. We're going to start to work the arms and shoulders. So starting to have an experience, really trying to stay on the mat, feel your arms and shoulders. So sinking into your shoulders looks like this. Pull up out of the ground, start to activate arms and shoulders. Pull up, wave from your fingertips. And then we're going to lower the elbows slowly down towards the ground and pull them back up. So it's a small movement, trying to feel arms and shoulders. You can feel like you're trying to squeeze the elbows together to keep the elbows and arms active. Move slow and try to have an experience in your shoulders, letting go of what you think the shape should look like, what you think you should be experiencing, and just trying to feel the muscles of your shoulders and your arms. Non-attachment. And bring it back to a regular tabletop. Take your hands a little bit wider, perhaps towards the edge of your mat. And we're going to bend our elbows out and take a different shape with our arms and shoulders. So a little bit of attention for the lower back here. Watch for too much wiggling in the lower back. We're going to bend our elbows and take a small movement down towards the ground and then back. Wide push-up as slow as you can. Trying to have an experience in all of the muscles of your arms and chest. Now bring it back to tabletop. Tuck the toes, down dog. And warm up your down dog in whatever way feels right for you. And down dog is a common shape, a shape we all get to know in yoga practice. So this is a great time to practice non-attachment. Non-attachment to what you think this pose should look like. Start to have an experience checking in on your own body. So as you find the stillness of the pose and let the tension out of your neck, find your breath. And then scan from your fingertips. Look at your wrists. Notice your arms. Notice your shoulders. Do they feel like they are in the most comfortable position for your body in this moment? Then look at the hips and the legs. And maybe there's some adjustments you can make for your own practice. Nice and slow, checking in. And then look towards the hands, bend the knees, and take a hop or a step all the way up. Feet underneath hips, forward fold. And again, another familiar shape to have an experience in. We're forward folding, we're letting the blood go towards the head. Maybe we can bend the knees a little more. Let the tension out of our low back. And then bend the knees a lot. Inhale as we rise up, arms overhead. Exhale, prayer to heart. And we're going to move and breathe. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, prayer to heart, connecting to simple first. And then building upon that. Maybe coming all the way up to the balls of our feet as we lift. And exhale, lower all the way down to baby chair. So looking in, having an internal experience, we're starting to warm up all of the muscles of the body. Things to look for in your baby chair shape. Are you activating your legs? Are you pulling too much into the low back? Can you adjust your shape for more comfort in your own body? And then bring it down to a baby chair. And hold. Try to get all of the muscles of the legs active. Some tricks you can use. Feel like you're pulling your feet apart, as well as squishing the knees back in towards each other without letting them move. You can have a gap between the knees. You do not have to have the knees and ankles together. So try different versions of this pose. Which one feels better for you? Let go of the attachment to the perfect shape. Hold. Find the position you can hold steady and hold a steady breath. We're going to be here for a little bit. So don't go all the way down, don't overstress. We're going to start to try and peel up one heel at a time. So nice and slow, trying to feel one heel at a time and trying not to move too much else. So we're trying to have an experience in our legs without moving the hips around too much. Peeling up and feeling the muscles of the feet. And you can stay with this, or if you would like a balance challenge, you can peel up both heels nice and slow. See if you can hover. And either stay here or challenge and more. Pull the knees apart and then squeeze them back in. Gentle, slow, and controlled. See if you can activate a little more of the glutes, a little more of the inner thigh, outer thigh. And then slowly sink the heels and rise up, mountain pose. Find your center. We're going to sink it down, baby chair again. Bring the weight onto the left leg. Slowly peel up the right. Bring the knee forward, trying not to move the hips, trying to keep the hips even and facing forward. Slowly send left knee to right knee. Heel towards glute. Right heel comes towards the glute. Hold here. See if you can find some more muscles in the back of the right leg. We're going to take our arms out and come forward with our torso. Hold and challenge your balance. And then we're going to peel the heel away from the glute and back, trying to really have an experience in the back of the right leg. Slow, controlled movement. Move with your breath. And then extend the right leg, slowly come to high lunge. Find your base. So high lunge, another familiar shape where we can let go of what this shape should look like and have an experience. How can we have both legs strong and active? Lower back soft and not strained. Shoulders soft, face soft. Adjust your pose so you're balanced so that this feels right for you. We're going to move and breathe here. So bringing our arms out even with our shoulders. We're going to inhale, lift our arms, lengthen. Exhale, bring our torso forward, trying to keep the legs still. Inhale, lift. And exhale, torso forward. Legs strong. Can you get your legs stronger, stronger, stronger? Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. And you can stay with this, or if you would like a little more challenge, you're going to inhale, lift, and as you exhale, bring right hand past left leg, so a little bit of a twist. Inhale, lift, exhale, move with your breath, maybe adding the gentle pause. Watch for this coming through the hips. We want the hips stable. We want to move from the center. Bring it back to regular high lunge. And we're going to go back the way we came. So hands can come to prayer, or they can come out for balance. Bring your weight over the left leg. Slowly peel right heel towards the glute. Slowly peel right knee up. Come to stand with the leg lifted. Right leg active. Hold. See if you can cross right ankle over left knee and sink it down. Once you get here, see if you can pull that right leg stronger. Imagine you're pulling the knee down with the muscles of your leg. Breathe to balance. And then slowly unravel. Take a moment to tap out the left foot. Notice left and right sides. And then back to center, connect your breath. Inhale up. Exhale, purr to heart. Bring your heart to heart and sink it down to chair. A little baby chair, not too low. Right leg strong and active. Bring the weight over the right leg. Lift the left heel. Slowly peel left heel towards glute. Hold and balance. And then we're going to bring the torso forward, a little right leg bent. Then we're going to lengthen the left leg and pull the heel back towards the glute. Hands can stay at prayer. They can come out for balance. They can come to your hips. Lots of options. Work with your breath. Inhale as you pull the leg away. Exhale as you pull it back towards the glute. Hold the left heel away from the glute. Slowly lower the toes. Come to high lunge. And now check in on your base in high lunge. Let go of the attachment that your high lunge should look exactly the same on left and right sides. Maybe your foot needs to be a little wider. Maybe it needs to be closer. Maybe this left leg glute space is different. Check in and have your own experience in this pose. Adjust. Find your base. And then torso forward, arms forward. We're going to inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, bring the torso forward, trying to keep both legs nice and strong. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower, lengthen. See if you can feel like you're getting longer from the left heel to the fingertips. Inhale. Exhale. An option to stay with this, or if you would like, starting to take the gentle twist. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, taking the left arm a little past the right foot. And then come to regular high lunge. Options for arms. We're going to go back the way we came. Slowly bring the weight onto the right leg. Peel up the left heel towards the glute. Slowly peel left knee forward. Come to stand. Cross left ankle over knee. And slowly sit it down, one-legged chair. Once you get here, find a way to activate more muscles in that left leg and try to keep the hips even. See how many muscles you can find. See if you can soften the low back and shoulders a little more, the face a little more. And then slowly unravel and tap out the right foot. And then connect to your breath. Inhale up. Exhale, heart to heart. This time, inhale up, exhale through center all the way down. Forward fold. Let go. So option to use a block here in your forward fold. We're going to work through the feet just a little bit. So you can hold on to a block. Take your feet a little bit wider than hip width. We're going to peel up one heel at a time, nice and slow. Trying to have an experience in our feet and our legs. See if you can feel like you're pulling the heel back down to the ground. See if you can feel like you're pulling from the muscles of the calf, from the muscles of the back of the leg. And then land both feet on the ground, and we're going to take the weight over to the right side of both feet and then over to the left. So starting to move a little U pattern in the legs and the knees. experiencing some of those stabilizer muscles in our legs, the ones on the outsides that help us when we twist and slip. If you're a skier, these are muscles we use a lot. And then bring the feet back to neutral. We're going to slowly peel the heels up. You can hold onto your block. And then we're going to hover. So hover here. Start to engage the chest and stomach. So pulling the stomach towards the spine, we're going to bend the knees. So option to bend the knees and sink the hips down towards the heels. Find the place that you can hold and feel strong in the legs. Maybe you can start to challenge your balance and bring yourself up, holding. Hold on to the block if you feel like you're not ready for that. Breathe and hold. See if you can challenge yourself by not letting your hips find your heels, but actively holding yourself up. Slowly send the hips back up and the heels down. Forward fold. Take a reset. Wiggle the feet back closer together, about hip width, and the same thing. So slowly peel the heels up, bend the knees, activate chest and stomach first, then start to slowly sink the heels, and maybe you can start to challenge your balance and lift up. Breathe. And back the way you came, slow and with control. Pull the heels back, the hips back up, and the heels back down, nice and slow. Wiggle the toes. Take a reset in the feet. And then we're going to step back through plank. And slowly lower all the way down to crocodile. So come on down to crocodile, shimmy the hips, loosen and soften, and let go. From this position, pick up the right leg, take it to the edge of your mat. And then pick up the left leg and take it to the edge of the mat. And then shimmy the hips, loosen and soften. Press the tops of the feet down with your legs wide. So starting to fire up your legs, backs of your legs, the glutes, seeing how many muscles you can find in your legs to fire up. And then from here, we're going to move and breathe with the muscles of our back. So thinking about lifting the shoulders, inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. So a little bit different from when we keep the feet together. Notice it's a little bit different. See if you can find the muscles of your back and evenly lift. Pressing the tops of the feet down first, and then maybe experiencing lifting the feet. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Maybe experiencing coming to a full star shape, lifting the arms up also. And then bring it back to crocodile. This time shimmy the hips. Loosen, soften, perhaps taking a few breaths of sighing out of the mouth and really letting go. Slowly come back to child's pose. Check in on child's pose, another pose to practice non-attachment. So there are so many ways that this pose is taught. Can you find the way that feels most comfortable in your body to release? This is a surrender pose. So maybe your knees are together, maybe they're apart, maybe your toes are touching, maybe they're not. Maybe your head is down, maybe it's not. Maybe you're resting one fist on top of the other. This may give you more support. Maybe the tops of your feet are down, maybe they are tucked. There are lots and lots and lots of ways to practice this pose. I invite you to really take a moment to have an experience in this pose. And if you have a way that feels perfect for you, I invite you to change it just to see what it feels like in a different way, letting go to the attachment. So maybe you can bring your hands to prayer and bring the prayer behind your head. If you do this, make sure you're not on the top of your elbow, but actually behind the elbow joint on your arm. Think about being vulnerable, being exposed in your back, and really letting go, surrendering into the moment. Finding your breath, finding your body on this mat in this moment. And then we're going to go back to down dog. I invite you to take a down dog as if you were experiencing it for the very first time. So come up slow, tuck your toes, slowly lift your hips, pull the weight out of your wrists, and experience this pose. See if it feels different from the one we took at the start of class. Again, we're turning our world upside down. Maybe a different perspective. And then slowly bend the knees, look towards the hands, and make your way feet up underneath your hips, forward fold. And bend the knees, inhale all the way up, prayer overhead. Exhale, prayer to heart, and we're going to come to mountain pose and do a balancing sequence. So find your mountain pose, comfortable mountain pose. Find your feet. So find where you naturally put your feet, and then find your hip bones and see if your feet really are underneath your hips. So push your hands down on your hip bones. Most people either have their feet a little bit closer or a little bit wider. So that's not right or wrong, just notice. It's actually a little easier on your balance if they are in underneath your hips, so maybe adjust and see if that helps you. Bring your hands to prayer. Soften your legs a little, soften your hips, and then start to feel like you're pulling your feet apart and squishing your knees together without letting anything move. See if you can find the muscles of your legs first. And then we worked on one-legged chair. So we're going to work on opening the hip in the other way. Start to peel the right leg up. Pull the knee forward, slow. See if you can do it without throwing the left hip out. Hold, focus. We're going to open the leg up to the right. So peel the right knee open to the right. Left hand can counterbalance. Hold here. If you like, you can reach for the shin. If you want to challenge, you can reach for the toes. And see if you can lengthen the leg. Breathe and hold. See if you can lift up taller in the spine. Not locking the standing leg. Wherever you're at, we're going to bring the torso forward nice and slow. So bend the left knee first. Slowly come forward with the torso. Hold. Release the foot or the leg if you have it. Send it back. We're going to make our way into Warrior 3. Lengthen. So press the heel of the right foot away from you. Get longer in the torso. Longer as if you're shooting out through the crown of your head. And then we're going to come back. Bend the right leg. Peel the right knee forward, slow as you can. And then back to one-legged chair. Left ankle, cross your ankle over your left knee. One more time, sink it down. Slowly unravel. And tap out the left foot. So, how many times did you think about the grocery list during that? Challenging balancing sequences are wonderful times to remain on your mat, because if you go off, you fall over. So take a couple of breaths, inhaling up, exhaling down, centering first. My invitation for this next round, bring your prayer to heart, is to notice how much harder it is to stay on the mat on the other side when we know where we're going. So you already did one side, so it's kind of a cheat for your brain. So a little bit of setup, check where your feet are, check if they're in the right place for you. So not where I told you to put them, but where you feel the most balanced. Maybe you need them a little wider. Maybe that's where you feel most balanced. Having your own experience. Weight onto the right leg. Slowly peel left up. So slow. Set up your base slow. Peel the leg up. Hold it up. Get long in the spine. Glutes active. Legs active. Peel the left knee open. Right hand can counterbalance. You can hold on to the shin, you can hold the thigh, or if you'd like the challenge, you're going to reach for the foot and lengthen. If you do this, try to remain really long in the spine. Try not to pull this into your lower back. Long, long, long. Breathe. Bend the right leg a little. Slowly bring the torso forward. Slow as you can with control. Let go of the left leg without letting it slingshot, and slowly bring it back behind you. And you're going to fold the hip forward into Warrior 3, nice and slow and with control. Check in on the hips. We often don't know where they are. See if they're flat. See if you got them even. Breathe. Bend the left leg. Slowly peel the left knee forward. And come on up to stand. Breathe. Fold left ankle over right. And sit it down. One last baby chair. Slowly unravel. And take a second to tap out the right foot and think about whether one side was easier than the other. And then we're going to connect to our breath. This time, bring your prayer up overhead. Hold here. You can interlace the fingers. You can leave index fingers long. We're going to go into some side body movements. So here is a familiar shape that often has a lot of attachment to it. People think they want to be over as far as they can possibly go. And this time, I want you to try and have an experience. Plant the left heel, so really plant it on the ground. Think about pulling every muscle you can from the heel all the way up to the armpit. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Have an experience first. And then think about pushing your fingers up and over to the right just a little. So rather than folding the right side a lot, we're thinking about lengthening the left as much as we can, pulling that left side open, 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 and breathe. Send your breath between your ribs. Watch for tension in the neck. Adjust your vision or your head to where your neck is comfortable. Breathe. Slowly come back to center. Bring the hands down. Look at your hands and adjust the interlace so that they're interlaced the opposite way. So it should feel weird. And then take your prayer up overhead. Lengthen, 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 and think about grounding that right heel down and lengthening the muscles of the leg all the way up to the rib cage, and then tilt. Lengthen as if you're pulling your right side body up out of the ground. Breathe. And then slowly back to neutral. Lower the hands. We're going to take a back stroke with the arms just to soften the shoulders back up. So nice and slow. Opening up the shoulders. Thinking about loosening, softening. Kind of reversing all of the directions we just took. And then bringing our hands back to prayer. We're going to work through the shoulders just a little bit. So we're going to bring our arms out. We're going to flip the palms. So this is what the movement's going to look like. So hands out even with the shoulders. You're going to bring the right hand, palm forward, back behind the head, not touching. And the left hand is going to flip, and the back of the hand goes behind the back, not touching. So trying to stay active, pushing your arms and your shoulders away from the body. And then switch. So hands come back out to neutral, the palms flip, and you go the other way. So when we're just working with our breath, one full breath for a movement. Trying to get your shoulders and arms active and trying to really feel an experience. So trying to feel as many muscles as you can across the shoulder. The reason we're doing this is because anxious feelings can often feel like a lot of weight across the chest and shoulders. We're trying to connect to those muscles, trying to feel those muscles as much as we can as we're moving right now, so that as we go down to our resting pose, which is coming up, we can think about this space being softer, less tense. And then bring your arms down, pick up the shoulders and drop them suddenly a couple of times. Loosen, soften. See if you can get them to wiggle and loosen a little more. Maybe you have to squeeze them really, really, really tight and then let them go. See if you can get the experience of super tight and then super soft. You're trying to feel the opposites. And when you get that opposite feeling, when you get to the softness, notice if there are any other muscles in your body that seem to be talking. Sometimes this can bring up your lower back. Give them a wiggle, and then we're going to inhale up. And exhale, swan dive it down. Step back through high plank. Lower the knees and come onto a seated position. So just taking a seat for a moment. Find your hips on the ground. Think about getting longer in the spine. So long, 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 long in the spine. Send energy down through the hips. And then imagine you're pulling up from the crown of your head. Notice the breath. Notice the shoulders. Notice the palms of the hands. we're going to take just a little bit of spinal movement before we get down to our resting pose. So hips still but soft. So we feel like we're grounded and they're even. We're going to move from the sternum, so the chest. We're going to take it in little tiny small controlled spirals. So as if we're pushing the chest out and then pulling it back. A little bit of movement through the chest. A little bit of muscular action in the shoulders and the chest. Watch for gripping. So watch for your hands pulling yourself into this movement. And just try to connect to the muscles that make our spine move, the ones that are closer to the spine. So we're not thinking about the six pack. We're thinking about the teeny tiny ones in close to the spine. And then reverse your circle. Bring it back to neutral. Re-soften the hands and arms and shoulders. And we're going to take a little bit of movement through the neck. So thinking about getting your chin neutral, so parallel to the ground, and really pushing the crown of your head up. So really lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. We're going to inhale, center, exhale, turn the chin to a side. And inhale back through center, exhale, turn to the other side. So moving with your breath, slowing it down. Trying to feel every muscle in your neck and shoulders. Bring it to neutral and then take an ear to the shoulder with the exhale. So inhale neutral, exhale ear to shoulder. Still trying to really connect with the muscles. Feel where you stop and what is stopping you. Notice. Not pushing into it, but feeling, having an experience. Letting go of the attachment of perhaps where you would like to get to with your ear, and just trying to have an experience with what is present. And bring the head back to neutral. See if you feel a little longer. See if you brought some more tension in around the lower back. See if you can soften a little more. And then making a decision about where you would like to be for your resting pose. If you would like to be on your back in a traditional Shavasana, make your way there. If there is some other pose that you take that you feel extremely restful in, please take that shape. We're letting go of attachment to somebody else's version of practice. So come on down to your back or your side or your stomach, wherever you need to be for your resting pose. I'm going to talk you through meditation. So as you start to come on down, starting to do a check-in. So your resting pose is a pose where you're letting go of as much muscular tension as possible. So do a check-in in your body. Start with the feet. Go and work your way up the legs and into the hips and into the stomach. Looking for places where you're holding tension. And as you notice, perhaps squeezing the muscles. So maybe you have some tension in your hands. Give your hands a little squeeze and invite tension into your hands. Your body knows what a little more tension feels like. Take a deep breath in, and then with the exhale, soften more. So doing that with each muscle group that you locate some tension in. And then we're going to work with intentionally sending fresh breath around the body. So our breath is our connection to our life force. We breathe in fresh and we release out what's no longer needed. And when we breathe in oxygen, we breathe it into our lungs and then it goes throughout our body to the muscle, the energy that our muscles need. So we're going to imagine we can intentionally move that breath to places, using our imagination to spread it across familiar patterns where we hold tension. So we're going to begin by imagining we can send that fresh breath all the way from our nose down into our lungs, and it's going to go down all the way to our soles of our feet. So we're going to imagine we're thinking about the soles of our feet, and we're going to push our breath all the way down to the soles of our feet. It's going to sweep away tension, and then as we exhale, that tension is coming up and out. So intentionally sending your breath, inhale all the way down to the soles of your feet. Soften the soles of your feet. And if it helps, you can give your breath a color. You can imagine this breath pathway having a color, or maybe it has a temperature, something that you can imagine feeling all the way down to the soles of your feet. Inhaling fresh. Exhaling, sweeping away what's no longer needed. And then we're going to move our breath awareness to our hips. So thinking about our fight or flight space, we're going to inhale. Send our breath across the front of our hips and the back. So thinking about our low back and our glute space too. Sending fresh energy across the hips. And with the exhale, sweeping away what's no longer needed. Sweeping away tension, holding patterns. Anything that's no longer needed. Inhale fresh. Exhale, sweep it away. And then we're going to shift our energy, our fresh breath, to sweep across the chest and shoulders. So imagine you're drawing your fresh breath in, and then it sweeps across the front of your chest and shoulders, gets to the edges of your shoulders, and then it brings back, sweeps away anything no longer needed, sweeps away tension. And perhaps you can imagine with each breath, each fresh breath, slowly touching every cell across the shoulders. You can imagine your shoulders getting a little softer and a little heavier. Maybe they're fighting gravity a little less. If you're on your back, maybe you can feel your shoulders floating down towards the ground a little more. And then slowly draw your fresh breath, and we're going to send it across the cheeks into where the jaw meets, upper and lower jaw, right into the ear space. So sending it all the way across the cheeks, opening, softening, all the way to the ears, maybe even connecting to the inside of our ears and behind the jaw and under the jaw. Breathing in fresh. And sweeping away tension with the exhale. Maybe you can connect to the tongue in your mouth being a little softer. Maybe you can imagine your gums feeling a little softer. The skin on your face a little softer. Maybe you feel like there's a little more space for sound to enter your ears. Imagine softness inside the ear canal. And then we're going to think about that experience, softness around the ear canal. Another way to practice letting go of attachment is letting go of attachment to sound. So locating a sound in your environment, maybe it's close, maybe it's something outside. Noticing it, seeing if you can notice it and experience it as a sound. Perhaps imagining you're a baby hearing a sound for a first time. See if you can let go of the attachment of the name of that sound, the attachment of whether it should or should not be there, and just allowing it to be a sound. So when we find sounds that we have labeled in our mind that we dislike or we find disruptive, we often tense in around our jaw, and we can feel muscular tension in around this space. Oftentimes we even clench our jaw and we have no idea we're doing it. So practice locating a sound, and then when you feel a softness around the sound, when you feel like you can let go of that sound, see if you can find another sound to practice with, practicing non-attachment. Practicing softening around a sound. And if you're in a wonderful space and you have the time to take practicing, finding a sound and letting go of attachment, and moving on to the next one, please take as much time as you can, resting, practicing, enjoying the practice of meditation. Perhaps you're ready to go a little bit deeper and let go and droning inward. And taking some time looking for sounds within your own body. And if you need to finish up at the 60-minute mark, begin to bring a little bit of awareness to the physical body. Some gentle movements to the fingers and the toes. And if you're on your back or not already there, make your way to a fetal position. Curl up in a ball and take a moment just to start to arrive in the physical body, on the mat. And having a few more moments to experience being here right now on this mat, in this body, in this moment in time. What do you feel? What do you feel physically? What do you feel emotionally and energetically? And letting go of the attachment of right or wrong answers, just asking yourself these questions as an inquiry within. Getting to know yourself. And slowly bring yourself up to a seated position and bring your hands to prayer heart space. connect to your inner wisdom. So that place within your body's own inner wisdom, that place that guides you. Take a moment to honor this place. And then from this place, send out some compassion and kindness. You can imagine someone in particular, or just imagine sending out compassion and kindness from this space. May all beings be peaceful and at ease. And thank you so much for joining us.